Greetings and salutations, and thank you for clicking on the video. Today we are going to talk about snap packages. We're going to talk about how they work, what they are, and how you can use them. Right now, whatever distribution of Linux you are on, you may be able to use snap packages. We're using Ubuntu 16.04 in a virtual machine to demonstrate the snap package management system. So for those of you who don't know, let me take a few moments and explain what snap packages are and why I think it is a very important technology for Linux, and I'm actually very excited to see how this develops over the next couple of years, because it is going to make it a lot easier on users to get software, and it will make it easier for developers to create software and provide it to folks who are using the Linux platform. So let me jump over here real quick, and we're going to take a look at Martin Barrett's website. He provides a piece of software called Simple Screen Recorder, and this is the software that I use to create most of my YouTube videos. I've tried other screen recording software, but this is the one that works the best. It is the most reliable, and I really couldn't do what I do without it. So it's a very cool piece of software. It is not available in the Ubuntu repositories. In order to install this software, you have to come down here to the instructions for installation, and you will have to hook up a PPA to get access to Martin's private package archive, and then you will update the system, and now you can install the package Simple Screen Recorder. That's great, okay? And anybody who's been using Ubuntu or Linux Mint for any period of time will be familiar with how PPAs work. But take a look at this. Here are the instructions for other operating systems. Well, it's not too bad for Arch Linux. You just get it out of the Arch user repository. So if you're using Arch or Manjaro or Antergos or anything that is based on Arch, and you have access to the AUR, you're good to go. You say that 3 times fast. And it's available for OpenSUSE as well, so this is cool. It's available for most of the major distributions. However, you may notice here that there is no Fedora listed. There is no CentOS listed here, and it is currently not available in an RPM package for those distributions. And what you will have to do if you want to try and install it on Fedora is you will have to come down here and get the source code either from GitHub, or you would download the tarball and compile it yourself. A lot of people have been asking me to review Fedora 24. So I downloaded it and installed it, and I actually started to play around with it. And I decided that I was going to try and compile Simple Screen Recorder for it. I didn't have much luck. It just didn't work. I followed the directions in the README file in the tarball, and there were some dependencies that weren't available to the system. So therefore, it just got to a point where, okay, this is too much just to install this little piece of software. I'm not going to do it. I think if I would have sat there and poked at it for a while, I could have got it to work. It wouldn't have been any big deal. I've had the same experience trying to get Simple Screen Recorder installed on Debian. It's not available directly for Debian. It's not in their repositories, and I've tried to compile it there and run into the same situation. It's not that you can't do it. It's just you have to make sure you have all the dependencies, everything's working. Big pain in the butt. This is a big barrier in the Linux world because it makes it hard to choose a distribution of Linux. Everybody needs different software to do different things. And I think that Ubuntu and Arch are probably the two that have the most software available to it. So therefore, if you're using either one of those, well, you should be able to get pretty much anything you need. But still, it can be difficult to get all the software that you need. And this is a big problem. But what's even worse is that this is a problem for the developers. Now you take Martin here, who has been kind enough to make his software completely available. It is open source. It is free. You can just download it and install it on your system. No big deal. Thank you. I really appreciate that. And those of you who have a project like this that is important to you, I encourage you to donate to that project and say thank you for the developer's time. But the problem here for the developer is that they have to package their software for all of these different Linux distributions. And for whatever reason, Martin has not been able to get this to work on Fedora. So therefore, he's not currently packaging this for Fedora, and I don't blame him. If it's particularly difficult to make that work on Fedora, then his only recourse is to just offer the tarball or the GitHub, the link to GitHub, so you can get the source code and then you compile it yourself, and that just leaves it on the user. If you really want Simple Screen Recorder, here you go, troubleshoot it. Well, that requires quite a level of technical knowledge on the user's end. If you're not somebody who's used to compiling software from source code, you probably don't want to do it. I don't recommend that people compile software from source code on their Linux boxes, especially those of you who are new to Linux. And unfortunately, a lot of developers, because they don't have the time to actually go through and make their software work on each individual distribution of Linux, offer just the source code, and now you have to figure that out. And so it's a big problem for both users and developers. So wouldn't it be a lot easier here for Martin if he would be able to take his lovely little program, put it in one package, and then put that package up somewhere on a repository, and now everybody can download that package regardless of what distribution they're on? He doesn't have to worry about dependencies. He can include all of the binaries and libraries that he needs to run this particular piece of software in that package, and so therefore when you install it, you get everything you need. In other words, it's monolithic. That's the word that they use. It's in one piece. Wouldn't that be nice? Well, now he can. And he can use Snap Package Management to do that. So that is why I think Snap Package Management is a very important technology coming to Linux. It is not the only universal or universal package manager out there. There's another one currently getting some attention called Flatpaks. Whoever wins this battle of what the universal package manager will be, I don't really care as long as it works, because this is something we desperately need. And before I move on from this, if you are one of those people who is against the idea of snap packages or universal package management because of security concerns, or you might think that there might be the possibility that this will allow junkware to come to Linux because it's not curated, I sympathize with you. I understand that. I have exactly those same concerns. I think that having a universal package manager is going to be way more beneficial to Linux than it is a risk or a threat to the Linux ecosystem at this point. And those are issues we'll just have to deal with as we roll on down the line. So let's actually get into looking at installing something from a snap package. Let's see how it works. Now what I did was I went ahead and got me the snap commands and put them in this little cheat sheet just so I can have them around, and I will share them in the description for this video. And so therefore, if you want to play with this yourself, you're more than welcome to. And if you are not currently running Ubuntu 16.04, then you're probably going to have to look and see how you would install the Snap Package Manager on your system. I know that the Snap Package Management System is available in the AUR. On Arch, it's also available for Fedora, and you can just look for the documentation on how to do that. If you're currently running Ubuntu 16.04, any flavor, this is available to you. There you go. And you can just start using it. Okay, so let's get back to our terminal, and we will at first here, let's see what packages are available. It's early days yet. Like I said, this technology is relatively new, so there's not a huge amount of packages available to install, but there are some interesting ones here on the list. So the command I put in there was sudo snap find, and this basically lists all of the snap packages that are available in the snap repositories on Launchpad right now. So let's go through the list and find something that we want to install. I think I already... Oh, look at that! Minecraft servers there. That's nice to know. Unfortunately, Simple Screen Recorder is not in here yet. I kind of hope that Martin does make it available, because that will make installing it so much easier, especially in virtual machines. If I can open up Fedora or Debian and install it from a snap package, and then I can start using it, that's great. I'm there. Okay, I think the one we're going to use is VLC, which is down here at the bottom of the list. Yes, VLC is there. And if we install VLC, we're going to get a daily build. And so therefore, every time we update the system, we're going to get the absolute latest and greatest. So that's cool. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And clear the screen and make this easy. So what we're going to do is simple. Sudo snap install VLC. And it's going to go out and it's going to download the snap package, and then it will install it on the system. And it's taking its own sweet time to do that. But VLC is a pretty large program. All right, it is installed. It's ready to go. Now, I don't think we're going to find it in the dash yet. So we're going to see here. Well, no, I was wrong. There it is. The last time I tried this before I started the video, I had to reboot the system. But guess what? Not this time around. So if you install a snap package and you don't see it listed on the dash there, you might have to reboot the system just so it'll find it. And it's crunching away, and it's going to open VLC. There it is. It is running on our system. Now, VLC is currently available in the Ubuntu repositories, but you certainly aren't getting the daily build. You're not getting the latest. So if you want the very latest VLC for whatever reason, there's an easy way to get it right there. Install it from a snap. Okay, so where is VLC? How did this work as far as where did it actually install it in the system? Well, it doesn't work like the same way we're used to, where if we use like apt to install VLC, it's not just putting it in the binaries that are already installed on the system. VLC at this point is running in a sandbox, which means that it does not have root access to the entire system. Now, this is one of the really cool things about the way the Canonical folks have done snap packages. Since they're monolithic and they're not altering the base system at all, number one, that makes it more secure. And number two, if I want to remove VLC, then it doesn't leave a lot of junk behind. I don't have to auto-remove packages and that sort of thing. So how does that work? How does the actual sandboxing work? Well, I can show you that. We're going to run df, which is disk-free. And it basically lists all the devices hooked up to the system, all the storage devices. And if you come down here and look, you'll see that we have these devices hooked up here at the bottom. And one of them is Snap VLC. Right there. See that? That's where VLC is running. So it's not necessarily integrated with the core of the Ubuntu system. The Snap Package Management System is not designed to take over from apt. You can still use apt for all of your basic distribution stuff, and it will keep up with that. But if you want the latest version of something, or you want to add to the distribution, the basic distribution, there you go. You don't have to hook up any repositories. You don't have to worry about dependencies. It should all take care of itself at this point, which is really awesome. So let's go ahead and do that again. Let's find another snap to install. What can we put in this time? Tic-tac-toe, basic tic-tac-toe game. That's an interesting snap. Speed test. Let's put speed test in. That sounds like an interesting application. So just go back here, and we'll change that to install speed test. That's a smaller application, so it's easier to get a hold of. And it's installed. Let's see if it showed up. I don't see it. Okay. So we'll go ahead and log in and log out, and it should show up. I'll do that real quick here. So let's log out. It might take it a moment or two for this system to log itself out, since it is running in a virtual machine. And we are capturing video as well. Okay. Log ourselves back in. Okay. I have all of my virtual machines set up to launch a terminal when I start them up because usually, gee, Joe, can't type and talk. Well, I don't see it here, so maybe that was a terminal application. Let's give it a shot here. Didn't read the documentation. Well, that doesn't seem to work for whatever reason. So we're going to have to uninstall that particular snap. This is a real-world example. If you try a piece of software and it doesn't work and it doesn't do what you want it to do, we can get rid of it. The nice thing about snap applications is, as you will recall, they are not installed in the main system, so therefore removing them is no big deal. So let's just do yep, you can see here that speed test did get installed and it's running in its own little sandbox. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working on this computer, so we're going to get rid of it. So to do that, real simple, sudo snap remove speed test. Okay, done. As you can see now, the sandbox that it was running in is not there anymore. So that piece of software is gone. And we don't have a bunch of junky configuration files. We didn't download a bunch of libraries to make that work. We didn't have any problems with the system becoming unstable because it uninstalled some dependency that something else needs. It's just gone. That is the beauty of the snap package system. So pretty awesome. Now if you just want to see how many snaps you've got on the system, let's do that just to show you that command real quick. We only have one snap package installed at this point, but it'll give us the list. So we'll do sudo snap list. There you go. We have the Ubuntu core from Canonical, which basically is the snap system itself. And then we have the VLC daily. There you go. Done. So I hope this video was helpful, and I hope that I got everything right as I was talking through this, working my way through this video, because there's not a lot of solid documentation yet on the Snap system. I went to the Ubuntu wiki and then did a search for Snap packages, and nothing came up. So I was trying to look for the official documentation on this, and I ended up just searching the web and looking for different things, and I found how to work the system, but I am no expert on how it works or what it does, but hopefully I got it mostly correct, and it will be enough for you guys to be able to get something out of using it and do some research on your own if this is something that you're interested in. Can't wait to see how this progresses as time goes on, because I'm hoping that this will make it easier for developers to get software to Linux, and there will be an explosion of development for the Linux platform, and maybe even some old stalwarts, like Adobe doesn't make their software available for Linux right now. So I don't know how many people I've talked to that said, well, yeah, I would love to use Linux full time, but I can't because I can't get Photoshop or some other piece of software like that. Well, maybe if the Linux community makes it easier for people to package software, whether it be open source or whether it be proprietary, those companies might be tempted to actually include that into their ecosystem and have a Linux package available, not just for Ubuntu, not just for Fedora or some other system, but all Linux. As long as you can run the Snap system here, you should be able to install it and play with it. So thank you for watching this video. Do check out Easy Linux on the web. Check out Easy Linux on Facebook, and if you do, give it a like. And also, check out freedompenguin.com. I have a new article that is going to be posted there talking about doing an in-place upgrade from Linux Mint 17.3 to Linux Mint 18. It goes along with the video I just posted, so be looking out for that as well. And I'm going to sign off now. I'm going to wave bye-bye and talk to you guys soon.